Well, good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're having a great day thus far. We're looking forward to our little chat here today, and got a couple of interesting studies I want to talk about, and we'll get to them in a moment. But as per our usual, we got to say hello to a few folks. And let's see, I think our friend Kevin is up from Oshawa, numero uno. Jen, number 2. Cape Breton, how is ya? Nick from Arsta. And Mike from Norland. And Wendy from Fairmont Hot Springs, BC. Listening while working out. Well, good for you. Gary, Debraka from Mississauga. Norma, Rosa. And Fran from Orangeville. Faithful people, Sandra, thank you. Jeanette from our staff. Francis from Vaughan. Gertie, Burlington. Julie, good morning. Or good afternoon from Bowmanville. Annette, Nouveau Brunswick. Jocelyn from Baxter. Wendy from Markham. Terry, British Columbia. Doris from Geraldton. Anne, hello. Shirley. And Vera from Newfoundland. Jane, how are you? Yvonne, Petawawa. Diane, Thunder Bay. And Marcel from Dania Beach, Florida. I know that place. Pueblo. Maryland. Annette, how is you? Morris, thank you, Morris from North Bay, for coming on. We appreciate it. One more, maybe 2, okay, and then we'll get going. Hey, my scroll is slowed right down, so that's a perfect time. Let's get going. Okay, let me read you a headline that you might find very fascinating. This came out of the International Journal of Environmental Research and Public Health. The International Journal of Environmental Research and Public Health. You know what it said? Here's the headline. Insufficient sun exposure has become a real health problem. Now, I've been telling you that for years. But isn't it interesting, in the International Journal of Environmental Research and Public Health, they're saying, and listen to this statistic, last year in the United States alone, they attribute, the authors of this study attribute, in the United States alone, 340,000 deaths that could have been prevented. People who died from a lack of sun exposure. Now, again, I've been saying it, but they brought out the statistics. Here's another one. It was 340,000 people in the USA alone in 1 year. And in Europe last year, 480, almost 500,000 deaths are attributed in Europe alone from a lack of exposure of vitamin D sun. Sun, steak, and steel. The sun. And they got 4 reasons for it, okay? 4 reasons why this is happening, okay? Number 1, the fear of the sun. And I'm just quoting their studies. Here's what they said. Skin cancer campaigns. Skin cancer campaigns have made people scared of the sun. Okay? According to the article, it's reason number 1. That people don't get enough sun, and it's deadly. It's deadly when you don't get enough sun. Number 2, indoor activities. In the last 20, 30 years, people spend a lot of times indoor. Do I like the gym? Of course. But there's no sunshine in the gym unless your gym is outside. And they're saying indoor activities. And they went on to say digital attractions. Those are all those games. Television. People spend the vast majority of their time indoors, unlike it was 100 years ago, according to the study. And then fourthly, they put air conditioning because people will stay indoors because it's more comfortable. So especially in those southern climates, Florida can be awful hot, Georgia, all the southern United States can be very hot. And people don't go outside, they stay in air conditioning to their demise. Now, let me again keep quoting the article. Here are the reasons people die, and they say it's from a lack of vitamin D, okay? A lack of sun. Now, here's what they say. Cancer, especially breast and colon cancer. Breast, ladies, can happen to men, but it's very rare. Somebody took me to task the other day because I said breast cancer, and then I said, ladies, I'm sorry. Okay? I'm making a general statement. I know there's exceptions to the rule. Okay? Breast cancer, colon cancer is what the article mentions. You know, we see a huge, huge increase. In 1974, when I graduated, 1 out of 20 Canadian women, 1 out of 20 American women would get breast cancer. It's 1 out of 7 today. It's not getting better, it's getting worse. One of the big factors is the lack of sun. Now, you and I know this as far as the immune system is concerned. Every cell in your body has a receptor, an antenna for vitamin D. Every cell in your body for vitamin D. Especially your T cells, your Navy SEALs of your immune system. So, again, I'm only quoting the article. Breast and colon cancer at the top, people dying, and they're saying needlessly. What does the sun have to do with cancer? Well, you and I, see, folks, people have been duped, okay? People have been duped. And they said it in the article. Skin cancer campaigns have kept people out of the sun. And it's been very effective. If you're Johnson & Johnson or any other sunscreen company, they scare the living lights out of you. They've been effective at it. They've been very good. Give them credit. Scared, skinny people of the sun. And they don't realize that in 10, 15, 20 minutes, you get 10,000 IUs of vitamin D. You know, what did I say through the pandemic? What did I say? Constantly, consistently. What did I say? Give everyone vitamin D. What did I say? What did I say at the start of the pandemic? Put everybody outside. Guys, I'm a historian in the health field. I love looking at history, health history. And if you want to know what stopped the Spanish flu, was the sun. when it got sunny out and medicine got smart, even in the winter, they would bring patients and get them exposure to the sun. What happened to that? What happened? Why are we so silly here in all the advancements that we have in technology and science? Here we are in 2023 and we're crazy. We're crazy scared of the sun still. Most people in Florida that live in Florida are low in vitamin D. I talked to a physician the other day. I ordered some blood work, okay? Not a bad idea, right? To get some blood work done every once in a while. I wanted to check all my levels. And, I was talking to the physician and he said, man, your vitamin D is fantastic. And, he was a real integrative medical doctor. And he said, man, I'll tell you, 95% of the patients I see have very, very low vitamin D. They're in Florida. They haven't got the memo on the importance of vitamin D. And here is the International Journal of Environmental Research and Public Health. And they put out a peer-reviewed article and tell us that people are dying needlessly because they're not getting sun exposure. I'm quoting the study. Man, that frustrates me. I realize that my job is not even close to being finished. John the Baptist in the wilderness, crying out, for heaven's sakes, would you please stop being scared of the sun? And I realize if you live in, somebody was telling me last night or whatever on our webinar, they were making a point, hey, man, I haven't seen the sun in 3 months. Okay, I get it. Well, then you got to take vitamin D. Okay, you got to take a supplement of vitamin D. And if they had only done that, and now it's conclusive, guys, conclusive, that they had just given vitamin D to those poor seniors that were stuck in their homes for a couple of years, in the home and in homes, and not seeing family and whatever, had they just given us vitamin D. Vitamin D for the immune system. So they said it in the article that one of the biggest killers is cancer that could be very much helped with exposure to the sun. Breast cancer, colon cancer. Colon cancer. Why would the sun help colon cancer? It's amazing that your vitamin D, Viderma, on your skin, it don't stay on your skin, man. Vitamin D, Viderma, the sun on your skin, it goes to the deepest recesses of your body and helps every cell in your body. The article mentions 2 specific cancers. Let me go on to tell you what they say. Because of the elevation of nitric oxide, here's what the study said. People have needless hypertension, high blood pressure, because they have low levels of nitric oxide, and they have low levels of nitric oxide because they don't get in the sun. High blood pressure. High blood pressure. Cardiovascular disease, of course. Now, you know what nitric oxide is. We talk about it. Nitric oxide relaxes your blood vessels. Where is nitric oxide made? In the Teflon layer of your blood vessels. You got a little thin layer of Teflon-like. Okay? Call your endothelial cells. And they put out nitric oxide. The guy that discovered nitric oxide won a Nobel Prize in 1980, I believe. I didn't even learn this when I was in school. Didn't know nitric oxide existed. I knew that nitroglycerin worked for angina. I studied that in school, but I never studied nitric oxide. Well, the sun on your skin elevates your nitric oxide, and that can lower your blood pressure and lower cardiovascular risk, because if your nitric oxide is high, you are going to have much less trouble with the dilation of your blood vessels. MS, that's well established, folks. For the last at least 40 years, I would say, we all knew the importance of, in this autoimmune disease, MS. We all knew that vitamin D was a huge factor, because when they looked at MS 40, 50 years ago, they found it much more prevalent in the northern hemisphere. But you know what? That's not true anymore. It used to be true. But because, again, let me quote the study, Skin Cancer Campaigns. Now, like I said, Florida, Arizona, New Mexico, all these places, people stay out of the sun to their detriment. So Alzheimer's is next. MS, autoimmune. Alzheimer's has an effect on Alzheimer's. Man, is there anything, be honest, is there anything scarier than Alzheimer's? Really? Is there anything scarier? Not really. Very scary, isn't it? Who wants to lose their memory? Well, according to this study, if you don't get enough sun, you don't get enough sun exposure, you don't get enough vitamin D, you are much more susceptible to Alzheimer's. And then they put autism. I didn't put it there, they did. Autism. And we should do, maybe another podcast on this, some interesting studies that are coming out on autism. I've always said autism is autoimmune. It's autoimmune. And, but they're saying, the researchers are saying, autism has a major effect, I guess, with mommy. Mommy not getting enough vitamin D. Baby not getting enough vitamin D in the placenta. Man, oh man, oh man, the more they study vitamin D, the more they realize what a vitamin it is. The sun, my friend, the sun. And then they said asthma. Sometimes asthma can kill you. And they put type 1 diabetes. And they put myopia. Those are the lists that they put down. I didn't make this list up, guys. I'm quoting you this study. Just came out. 340,000 deaths last year in the USA alone. And 480,000 deaths in Europe. And they attribute it to a lack of sun. Now, my friend, let me just say this. You don't burn in the sun. I never like burning in the sun. I don't recommend burning in the sun. But I say it maybe too often, but I'll say it again. It needs to be repeated. When you look at melanoma, and I wrote this in a book years ago. I bet you 15 years ago, maybe more, when I wrote a book at that time. I said this, for every person that dies of melanoma, that's skin cancer, the bad one, 250 people die from a lack of vitamin D. Guys, I said that 15, 20 years ago. And here we are today. Study that looked at all these studies are saying it's a major concern. Insufficient sun exposure has become a real health problem. Okay. You know what tomorrow is? Question and Answer Friday. Get your questions in. It's not too late. I might try and answer some of the questions that we didn't get to answer last night on our webinar. Thank you for joining us last night, those of you who could. And we'll have a tape of that. It was very interesting. Okay, guys, we love you. We'll talk to you soon.